right? You have to either decide to play against his army or decide to play against the Solace. Or and hope the other team bans the Solace or something like that. I think it's just choosing between the lesser evil.
Well, Bev, it is time to get underway. One of these teams will see through to the semi-final where they will play Exist for an opportunity to go to the major. However, the other team will have to fall down to the lower bracket to play CAG. And I don't mean the lower bracket in a good way. It's only, but we will allow you to run through all of this action. It's time to get underway.
Thank you very much, Rob. Yes, indeed, we are here, and it's the final chance for both Varrel and SCARZ to continue their trek through this knockout bracket. Otherwise, they will be knocked out. That's how it works. That's how it gets its name. But, of course, they have their eyes set on the major. They need to start here and then take down Exist in order to get that spot at the major and represent their nation. But, of course, going through the operator ban phase, we've just sped through it completely. But it looks like the bans were SCARZ getting rid of the Ying and the Valkyrie, and Varrel to get rid of the Montaigne and the Azami.
Azami ban. It's almost like Rob was just talking about that. Sense it makes, I think, if you're the perspective of Varrel. They ran into lots of problems in the last map with Azami when they were trying to attack, whether it was clearing rafters, whether it was trying to stop Hyun from bandit tricking because there were two Azamis blocking his way. It just felt like, for the way that Varrel play, they don't like doing the whole throw in a flashbang and then throw in some explosives afterwards to clear the utility. Nah, they don't like doing that kind of thing, so getting rid of Azami works out. But, like we alluded to before, that leaves in the Solace, and well, Wreck is pretty lethal on that operator.
Yeah, Wreck was great on the second map, really showed up the opponents. But Varrel, we talked about their very execute-heavy playstyle, their aggression, their pace. They have we haven't seen from many other teams in this league quite on their level. And straight up, we see Lion, Finker, Glaz, Blitz.
Oh,
with a little bit of Nomad mixed in there.
Dev, you going to
This is
tell
be
us what's
something
going to happen?
spicy. I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen. We're going to see DD Man playing on the balcony. It's going to get smoked up. We're going to see Akayu send it straight on through main stairs.
Yep, I think you might be calling that one right. All four players starting out on the study side of the map. Diffuser even in the hands of the Blitz, the spearhead of what the push is to be. But they're actually waiting. They're not going for it just yet.
I mean, the real trick in nailing rushes like this is baiting that you're on the other side of the map. So sometimes what teams even do is they'll put their drones on the opposite side of the map in the threat phase, and then make sure they get spotted by operators like the Sens. But I'm pretty sure that SCARZ here, yeah, they know. They've clued in. And the first gas babe goes out, the E1D. Still nothing as of yet. No movement from Varrel with the exception of Okamesh lurking on the other side of the map.
Alright, so SCARZ, they're real aware of what's going on. They've got the smoke that's covering the door. Not only that, but you have the Warden. Why do I keep calling him Wamai? You've got the Warden that's in prime position to face that Blitz.
Not Wamai.
As he comes in. Yeah, I know. Oh gosh, it's confusing. Washoy on Warden, who's not Wamai, but there is Wamai in the server. These players are out to get me on the cast, but that's okay. We'll see what the success of this lurk is from Okamesh on the other side, because now that this rush has been telegraphed, SCARZ are all looking at it, and Varrel's got to try something else.
The other thing is that people often forget, but Solus can actually see the Blitz through the walls, even when he's not actually using his shield. Here it goes, the Blitz comes up the red stairs and does find the opener. Also can take down that proxy alarm. I love the Finker used to enable Akayu to get that faster aim down size time as well. Extra deadly on the Blitz.
I actually had no idea about that.
Yeah,
Fun facts with Dev.
You can see the Blitz anywhere on the map.
You can see him. It's exciting. He's going to look for that retake as well. Through the Astro side, going for a flank. Io as well can start to stick the diffuser. It's looking scary for SCARZ.
It is, but there is a flank opportunity now for Rek, who was making his way through Astro previously. Hyun has actually managed to self-revive using the withstand of the Rook plate, so now Washoy putting the extra pressure on is making this a hell of a big ask now for Varrel. DD, 1v4 on the Glaz. Don't believe they know where he is as of yet. The plant never actually went down, so it's a massive ask for him. And it's absolutely not going to happen. They'll play safe crossfire positions, no one feeding him. And as time ticks away, it's just a matter of time before he is taken out. Tyro to get the final kill, and a good opener, denying that rush, which looked to might have had a bit of promise before SCARZ locked it down.
Nice composure from SCARZ there. I think it could be very easy in that position to get a bit frazzled and think, oh no, something bad is happening. But in that composure, they're able to flip their setup around as Varrel tried to go up the red stairs and go for a plant there. Even though the attempt did go down, I believe it was a smoke babe that was sunk into that vault door that was able to get them off that. So well played from the remaining anchors of SCARZ to be able to claw their way back as the execute was coming down. And like you said, that rook to self-revive there, I didn't even notice that happened, to be honest. I saw Pion go down, and he was back up again, and I thought, oh, they've done that real quick, haven't they?
I just happened to notice as he got picked up, right? Like there was a little blue flash on the health bar that you would usually see when someone hits like
that. Absolutely
I've actually the first time I've ever seen it on the overlay. But yeah, it's the same kind of animation that you would see on the health bar when he gets stimmed by Doc or Thunderbird. So I can only assume that's what happened.
You've got a Hawk's-Eye dev model, not only that, but you even knew that Souls can see Blitz. I did not know that.
The reason I know that, I've been playing a lot of ranks, right? And my stack, we do play a little bit of Blitz, and we, funnily enough, have been facing a bit of Blitz. So it's a fun little counter to him. If you're playing against a really good Blitz player, get that Solus on your team, and you can see through walls. As long as he's got the shield, like holding out, he doesn't have to be flashing it, he just has to be holding it. You'll be able to see it.
Oh, no way. I had absolutely no idea. I suppose that makes sense because it is an electronic thing, yeah?
Yep.
It's got lights and stuff. Wow.
Yep.
Bravo. Special drone going into the bomb site, starting to disable remotely some of what is held onto there, and the first thing being that 90 camera that's going to give away some vision on the other side of the map.
Did you see that? I didn't know you could vault
I think
from that.
I think you can only vault that if you're speedy, you know?
Ah, there you go.
If you're a speedy gal, you can make the vault work. But if you're slow, then you can't.
Well, you know, we're learning a lot of things in this game.
We're learning lots. We are learning lots. This can become like a fun facts with Dev and Mandy kind of thing. Anyway, CD Man's gone in from below, looking for a lurk up the main stairs. Player to meet him on the other side. I think that's Rek himself. Phone ringing, so his position is made aware. It's actually Washoy, and he's able to take him down with the P90.
Yeah, not a good start here for Varrel. It's just the Caillou left. He's in sight, but he's taken down. Once again, a very quick and explosive attack from Varrel that does not find any footing whatsoever.
And I'd once again love to break down that round, but I have absolutely no idea what just happened. I can only assume that they tried to go in for a pretty early execute, maybe perhaps slightly ill-advised. Too much of the anchor being very disciplined on the bomb site, washing in all those entries. That's sort of the SCARZ way. They are quite disciplined, they remain composed, and are ready for the fact that Varrel do like to hop in through windows at any given time, and as we were watching that lurk from the other side of the map, they were able to pop it down.
Getting a bit scared now for Varrel here, Mandy. That's 4 rounds in a row. If you count the previous map. That SCARZ have strung together. They found quite a bit of form here. Built that momentum up. Varrel have tried 2 rounds in a row to get away with some kind of cheeky idea, and it hasn't worked twice. What is the play from here on out? Do they go for a more slow, methodical play? Scary thing for me is there's a lot of info gathering on the SCARZ side. That Valk might be banned, but the Solus can get a lot of info on where those drones are coming from, where the blitzers are coming from. And of course the Pulse is such a powerful operator on this bomb site shining.
I actually quite like this defense that SCARZ are bringing along. There's a lot of versatility in their lineup. I think, like you've already alluded to, the intel gathering is a big thing. But the other big thing for me is just the mobility of the other defenders to aid, to be alongside that intel. It's not like they're playing very static operators, right? Like, this is a very scary defense to play against because all these guys kind of got their ways to run around the building rampant. They don't really have utility that supports the team so much. It's quite self-sufficient, of course, in the Capcan, in the Oryx, and as well as the Alibi. And so I think that, yeah, for SCARZ, they're really going to be on the ball with being ready for these entries. Washoy, there is a breach charge on the other side of that.
God. He could have shot the breach charge. He got spotted on the drone. I know he's there. And Rento's found the opener. That's finally something going the way of Varrel.
Fishlike was looking for a cheeky jump out as he started out just right next to that master window. The rest of SCARZ starting to reconvene over towards this master side of the building as the Pulse has called out to the team that in fact there is a master push going down. It's only Pion to hold on to the other side, the lone man. But that XQ could come down real soon. Ace Charge is starting to cut down this kitchen in half, and well, Memorial seems to be the next point of contact for Varrel.
Yeah, but it doesn't work out so well for Carwow, who's taken down. The trade comes through and immediately traded on back by the EDDs from Tayo. So not so great there for Varrel, but Rento making his way in upstairs as DD's taken down. Wreck Tayo under the pump here on site, playing this Tetris position. The roof above him falls apart, but Pion reaggressed into living and found DD. 2v2 now as Akayu has snuck his way into site. Doesn't seem to know where Tayo is. There's no rotate for him to play with, but also safe place to plant. He's going to start forcing it down, but Solus hasn't actually seen it as of yet. Oh, the wall bang! It's exactly what he needed. Renzo and Akayo now to take down Pion. He's been spotted. He's forced to rotate. He's going to go all the way upstairs. Now he could well deny this plant through the floor. As you said, he is the Solus. Trying to spot out the player. The diffuser constantly being dropped. It's actually a bait here. They're trying to drop the diffuser to make it look like they're planting, when in fact, they're just dropping it, but they can't bait this out forever.
Oh, no way, but he's gotten off his solar scanner as they've gone for the plant towards that. Oh, good grief. Towards that music box position. The vertical nades come through, but too little, too late, and both Varrel players can get out.
Yeah. Excellently played by Akayo and Rento. They really baited out Pion here. He thought he had the play, but in fact he was being played. 1v2 now. He's going to have to hit some gnarly shots. Come around the corner. Caught in the crossfire. Pulling out the SMG-11. What a shot there onto Akayo. Now Renzo. He opened the round. He's got to close it, and he does. That will finally stem the bleeding. They find their first round of attack here on Villa.
Really nice from Varrel to be able to collapse in towards the bomb site. I think they certainly played against the setup that SCARZ had going for them. They were very widespread throughout the map with the lineup that they had. Of course, we alluded to quite early on as we were talking about it that yes, there was quite a lot of info for them, but the rest of the defense was starting out on essentially the other side of the map or the top floor or whatever, and Varrel were able to hit the site pretty directly. It forced the defenders to come back, but by the time that happened, they'd already established themselves so well on the site that it was too late for SCARZ to win out those gunfights, and they closed it out in a really nice 2v2.
Still, the fact that it was that close doesn't bode well for Varrel, does it, Mandy? They might have found the opening pick, but we've seen consistently them getting these openings and not being able to convert them.
I think the idea for Varrel here is like you said, it's about being consistent, about making the right choice first of all, doing a well-informed push, and then also not giving away things in the mid-round. I think especially, even on Cafe, a map that they won, we did see them falter a little bit through that mid-round after they got established themselves in the building. And I think for them, it's just about being a little bit more careful through each stage of the round to really close out these attacks.
I think Varrel have realized that they really need to change tack, though. And they need to go with something a little bit more conventional, which is why we're seeing the lack of Flaz, Blitz, some of these rushing operators that they always seem tempted to experiment with.
This is real Varrel fashion, isn't it? Popping through a window, completely unexpected, just an arbitrary one through the map somewhere, and establish a foothold within the building.
It's a good play, though. Lurking is very much in the forefront of the meta, especially in tandem with that doctor. You get a lot of info without having to drone everything out. Some players spotted on site, however. Some rotations cut now by Akayo. Every time I say his name, I say a different... Caillou? I think we were told it's Caillou, right? It's Caillou.
Caillou. But his name is Alcayu in the server, and so I keep thinking, and then it makes me say Alcayo, because O sounds like a more natural sound to make, you know? And then we keep getting it wrong. I think we say
There's a reason
Caillou
we don't speak Japanese. There is a good reason. But we try. Yeah, we try to...
We're just filthy Australians. Anyway.
Well,
oh, there you go, from Breck. Able to click that
lurk
lurk
versus the roam.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And And I think the thing is as well, it's just SCARZ are so aware of what's going on. DD Man, though, is going to come down the Astro stairs and could be in a near engagement with Rek on the other side.
Oh, DD.
Seem to know where he is.
Oh, what a shot, though. Great play with that SMG-12. Not an easy weapon, rather, to utilize. But Kawau has managed to find one back again on site, as the rest of his team seem to fall. Kaio getting a little bit ahead of himself, taking top main stairs, but all the defender cameras have been hacked as well by the Dockerbeat. So there's a real shot here for Varrel.
Kawa could get a foothold in the site here, but he doesn't have the diffuser in his hand. I believe that's been stuck just outside of that study door. There we go, top main. He's picked it up just now. But SCARZ playing the disciplined game with only 30 seconds left on the clock. Time is on the opposite hands of these attackers. Playing against them now. They can make a rotation hole into the site, but only 20 seconds left to go and a shotgun to meet them on the other side.
Hang on a second, though. Apparently,
No
DD is just going to go bananas with the SMG-12. I don't know how he does it. Such an unwieldy weapon. And yet he finds 2 headshots in the latter part of that round. What a play from Varrel. A 2v3. They realistically should never have one Mandy, and yet they get it done. They've tied this scoreline here with 2 attacks in a row.
Really nice stuff from the remaining 2 players of Varrel to be able to claw that one back. I think SCARZ just playing a little disconnected from each other in those final dying seconds of the rounds. They really let them into the bomb snipe there, I felt like. It just seemed like Kawa had full reign to be able to make his own rotation and make his own way inside of that aviator position. But it was really on the heroics of DD Man to collect 3 kills in that round. The first, of course, onto that lurk, and then the 2 inside of 90 and inside of Vault to be able to close it out.
SCARZ getting back on that horse is... I know, it's a bit confusing. What would you say to your team right now? Like, hey guys, we're kind of actually playing pretty well. Just maybe stop losing the 3v2s to people running in and gunning you down. What do you say against that? It's like really micro, isn't it? It's really...
It really is.
Niche.
Yeah. I think that's the challenge in games like this, when both teams are playing quite well, on the macro scale, at least. It really comes down to those smaller decision-making type things, like problem-solving, right? It's like, can you make the right call with the limited amount of space and tools that you have and the limited amount of players that you have left? And I think for SCARZ, just making small miscoms like that, or small ideas that don't quite go the right way, can be quite detrimental against Varrel players who are just so relentless and just go for it and are quite fearless with the way that they just do things with such conviction, Dev, you know?
Yeah.
And if you're SCARZ and you're not fully composed, you can definitely fall into that trap.
Wow.
Taiyu's just taking down Taiyu, oh my goodness, with a grenade.
Try to say that 10 times fast. Taiyu
Nice
taking down Taiyo.
Yep. Nice early pick once again for Varrel, but like you've said time and time again, they do often find that early pick, but aren't always able to convert the round.
Varrel do play quite a risky playstyle. They really back themselves into taking these ones, taking these lurks. A smoke player going down is a massive detriment to the util game available now. Okamesh sneaking his Brava drone in. Not just good for information gathering, but also for hacking the defender gadgets. The 90 camera always a high priority, as it gives so much information.
Oh, okay, sorry, side tangent, but I actually really like what Kawa did just then. You know when you hit the Flores drone, it goes like indestructible. Oh, you might do it again.
Yeah,
No,
I
he's
was
not gonna
thinking
do it
the
again.
same thing.
Yeah, because it's
I know what you're gonna say.
You can both burn the Aruni gate and you can explode the things on the other side of the Aruni gate because the Aruni gate doesn't kill it, right? It's
Yeah,
so
very cool.
I never thought about doing that, but it makes a lot of sense. Anyway, side tangent over. We learn new things every day.
This has
Varrel
been
were
one of the
trying to
most
figure out-
educational games of Siege I've watched in quite a while.
It is just the small things, isn't it? This game's all about the small things.
Yeah.
Every little thing that works out for them. Oh goodness, DD Man isn't able to quite connect those shots onto Rek, who's been absolutely lethal in this entire series. Meanwhile, though, execute happening towards the bomb site. Pion just training his eyes on this Astro side, but oh no, Okamesh with a disconnect. Leaves SCARZ in the man advantage.
That's very unfortunate now for Varrel. Kaio and Rento. The 2v3. Rento does find one. Coming up from the stairs now in Astro, trying to clear out the Aruni gate here on the Astro doorway. Kaio is going to get through it eventually. Now rotating back again, so a bit of a reposition here for Varrel. 2 players to find. Kaio might be in the perfect position to swing this player, but no! Renzo not able to get it done. Rek once again to be the savior for SCARZ. It comes down to that 1v1, but he can always be relied upon in a pinch.
Rek has been disgusting this series. Seriously, like the shots that he's been able to land. If we said that Okamesh was good in Cafe, honestly, Rek has just been the shining star for SCARZ in the last 2 maps, really at the forefront of both the roams and the entries as well. I think that
it goes
just,
to show. Please,
yeah, go on.
Honestly, I think it goes to show that you can have one phenomenal game where you go 22-5. But what really matters to your team's success is your consistency, and that's what Rek has really provided to SCARZ.
Yep. That's exactly what I was going to compound my point with as well. I think the thing about Rek and the difference between him and what Okamesh does as the forefront of the team is that Rek is also one of those players that plays along with the team, right? And he plays the utility that's sufficiently assisting his team too. When we saw Okamesh doing his roams, he crouched on to that alibi with the MX Storm to collect his 22 kills. When you see Rek doing his things, he's clutching onto the Solace, which is providing a lot of intel to his team, as well as being kind of crazy with the P90 and running around too. Same thing on the attack too. You've got Okamesh just sort of walking in, whereas Rek, I think, is a lot more in tandem with what his team is trying to do. So I think it's about creating that consistent playstyle with your front line.
Looks like we might be about to get back into it. The ready check's happening in the server. Varrel have one last chance to nail through an attack here on Villa. Now, overall, if I look at the global stats for Villa, it is quite heavily defensive favored, 59%. That is the second most defensive favored map in the pool, tied with Clubhouse, but behind Theme Park. Now, obviously, has not been played yet in the RJL. We do see RJL tends to be, on average, about 7% more attacker favored. So perhaps something that could make this a little bit more justifiable for SCARZ if they lose this round. If they ended up going even at the end of the half on their defense, they could say, well, we expect that Japan will be a little bit more attacker favored than the rest of the Blast ecosystem. But I think, at least in terms of my gut feeling, Mandy, it does feel like SCARZ are really in the advantage here, and a 4-2 spelled doom and gloom for Varrel.
SCARZ just have a more composed aura to them at the moment than what Varrel do. Varrel are trying pretty hard to claw their way into the map and inject themselves in, and then try and find something compounding off the back of that. But SCARZ always seem kind of ready for it, regardless of whether they win the gunfight or not. Sometimes they don't, because they're playing against Varrel, and those guys are absolutely insane. But regardless of whether they win or not, I think that SCARZ do seem to be ready for the concepts that Varrel are bringing into this lobby. It's quite individualistic, it's quite easy to shut down once they have an idea of it. And I think it certainly plays into the defense that SCARZ have got going for them now. It's very much aided by these anchors that are quite steadfast in their positions, and the solos as well to inform the roam.
Off the attacking side, I expect once more a bit of lurking business. Now here's one I'm sure that you do know, Mandy. When Nook is using her gadget, the Solas can see. So that is really, really powerful to counter that lurking game.
Well, look, that to me is a lot more intuitive because, like, you're turning on your electronics, right?
Yeah,
Whereas
right.
with Blitz,
Makes
it's
sense.
like when you turn on your electronic, it's only like when you do the flash. That was like what was going through my brain. Yeah.
Right?
Like your flash is not. That doesn't make any sense.
And that's the case with Lion and Finker, right? Like when they use their gadgets, they become visible for a couple of seconds to the Solus. But yeah,
Sense it does not
Blitz.
make.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's just a good counter to Blitz, right? Because there aren't enough already, apparently.
Oh dear, poor Blitz. We've absolutely done him in this series, haven't we, on the cast? Poor guy. They're starting to get to work directly towards this bomb site, 2 grenades to try and flush out that top main position. In fact, the shield already taken down. No Just to support that. Meanwhile, the rest of Varrel starting to suffocate out this 90 position.
Yeah, Rek really does feel like the danger player to Varrel. They have to be extra cautious of. This is the amazing thing about Solus. Like, he can even see his own claymores and take them down. Now, Carwow has found the opener there on the knock, but eventually traded on back by Washoy. Just from the site. looking through that study window, I believe. Oh no! Wait, is that the... Okay, so the Rook died. Oh, how did that happen? I have to think about that one for a while. But regardless, we do end an even exchange. Yeah,
Look, it's so spooky, she spooked your brain.
Welcome to Japan League. It is hella spooky and very difficult to keep up with. These teams just absolutely full of fire and pace.
Important thing to keep in mind right now is that even though the roam clear is starting to happen on the opposite side of the map, this is Okamesh just at the bottom of red stairs on board.
Oh, no.
We are with him, a player real speedy around the corner, talk about fast. Has just gone and reconvened with his team on the main stairs, but the diffuser is in the hands of Kaio, who's on the Nomad, is only just starting to rotate over towards this side of the map. Seems like Varrel are going to go for this default plant position just behind that vault door, as those flashbangs can aid to execute.
Yeah, this is a great look for Varrel, 4v3, and they have the bomb site control. Okamesh now, deep inside a bar. But Kaio has got to get that diffuser planted. It's an awkward position now. Rek has seen it, has spotted it, but doesn't have the impacts in order to deny from below. Tayo tries, and eventually there is a kill coming out. Fish-like, doing some good work here on for the retake. 3v3 now. Rek has fed the information to his team, and now they've got to deliver. As the air jab does detonate, it's a difficult post-plant for Varrel, who continue to retreat backwards. And Rek once again, the star here for SCARZ. And it's a 3v2 retake, but time is ticking away. Okamesh doubles down, he's looking for the third, and he absolutely will get it. A great round and an even half at the end of it for Varrel.
Really like what Varrel were able to do there. They made the executive decision to not go for this probe style execute anymore, and they all went for a more linear push coming from the other side of the map to execute in onto those Aviator Games bomb site. I really like the way that they decided to rendezvous there and go for the same idea rather than playing this one-to-one-to-one thing that they've been trying to do over and over again against SCARZ and keep getting shot down by every time that they've tried to take singular engagements. There's been a SCARZ player that's been ready for them, but that time they all went in for a 4-man flood and it worked to great success. SCARZ really gave up the site in that last defense, electing to play that retake, and it didn't work out in their favor.
What do you think now, Mandy? We've seen half of the game so far. Well, it could be more or less than half of the game, but we've seen the first half, right? We've seen SCARZ on the defense and Varrel on the attacking side. We've got a bit of a flavor of whether this Villa is going to be defender or attacker-sided. Are you feeling confident for Varrel here? Because I do feel like after map 2, they were the ones fighting from behind, right? We said coming into this game that SCARZ should indeed be favored.
Well, I think that it's a tale of two halves, and I think, like we were speaking on the desk, Villa is kind of a good middle ground between these two. I think the way that they approach the game, their philosophies and their concepts to their attacks. And so I think that this is going to be a close one. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another one of those 3-3 halves and we go into overtime, to be honest. It just feels like a map that is so deserving of it.
SCARZ looking to get some map control here. It does appear to be a sweep. Okamesh was deadly on Cafe, fairly toothless on Clubhouse. And, I mean, just continuing his, I hate to say it, mediocrity here on Villa. After such high expectations he set on Cafe. Does fall off, though.
4-4 isn't that bad.
And he eventually does get
4-5.
taken down.
Sorry.
Manny, you cursed him.
I absolutely did.
You tried to run in to defend him and he just gets absolutely nuked.
Look, this man had an even scoreline. You can't be too mad about that. Oh no, DD man has just spotted someone on a drone. That's poor Pion being taken down by the run out of his life, but not before being traded back. Where Shoy is there for the cutoff, one that he'd probably never expected to ever have to do, and is able to bring that man count back in the hands of SCARZ.
Yeah, this does feel like a good start now for SCARZ.
Sorry.
Varrel struggling.
Sorry.
I can tell you, he's absolutely not laughing. He was having a great time on map 1, and since then it's been a real struggle for him. Rek has really been the star of the show in a lot of these rounds. Impact plays. Caillou is looking desperately to try and find one of these players out on the balcony, but it's an easy fight. I think I get kind of lucky on one of these headshot angles. Tayo, together with Fish, ready to enter the site. There is a C4 and some gas to cover now and deny some time. Kawau is going for the flank here. This is a big play, but Fish reads it to perfection. It's going to need to be a big C4 here for a Caillou. Renzo, though, done a bit of damage with his own SMG-11 and, well, taken down. It's not going to be much here. Left for Varrel. Spotted on the camera. Caillou forced back on the retake. It's just not happening here. SCARZ in the 3v1. Perfect post-plant positioning. Upside down rappel. You just don't lose this. And a good start on their attacking side. Varrel really put under the pump and struggling.
Oof. This is a tough one for Caillou, isn't it? Washoy able to clean up that final kill. But yeah, like you said, SCARZ composed. They just know exactly what to do. Come that execute, the double down for the push coming in to just plant behind that vault door. Nothing too special on the side of SCARZ, really. They just made a very successful roam clear, although it was a bit odd with that jump out from the Astro window. They compounded that success of the roam clear into the default plant position, as you would go for. Varrel not quite there to deal with it. Smokes in hand, didn't sync, and the C4 as well didn't quite sync either, and so for them, SCARZ had the man advantage to be able to close that out.
Well, now Varrel are going to try something a little bit different. They're going to lean into a bomb site where perhaps they can try and hold on to the roam for a little bit longer and play for retake. They're going down to dining and kitchen, Mandy. And I don't know, is this just my feeling? I do feel like despite Varrel having on paper a good half, winning 3 rounds on the attack, it just feels like SCARZ edging closer to taking this map. I don't know what it is, why I have this feeling in my gut that Varrel... I do have a spidey sense that Varrel are fighting from behind constantly to try and keep up with SCARZ. And I think that they've got their work cut out for them here on their defense. I appreciate the ambition of trying to go for something a little bit different by switching up the bomb site. It's going to need to be some big heroic plays from guys like DD Man and Okamesh to steal away this round.
Did they just hack a drone that had been hacked? And now there's a... What?
Oh my god. The 4D chess that is being played right here.
Droneception! No way! That's what happened, right? I'm not insane.
Yep.
That
Well,
was
you can
a
see
hacked
that
drone that got re-hacked by Brava, and now it's Brava's drone.
So the number underneath, for DD Man, you see there's a 0 in the black circle. That's the number of pests he's got. The number under that is the number of drones he's caught, right? Yeah. So you can catch up to 3. I don't know whether that's 2 total, or if that includes the one that Brava's now hacked. Oh, you can see there's one under Brava as well. You look on the Brava side. One gadget in pocket.
There's one under the... What?
And one item hacked. Wow.
Oh, Brava's dead.
Man. What is life?
Our brains are too small for this. What is the meaning of life, Dev?
I'm still trying to figure that out myself, but looks like SCARZ are still trying to figure out this defense from Varrel. They've taken some good top floor. They found a pick, taken down that Brava. Ooh, not falling victim to the cat can traps is always nice. And the vertical game begins.
Yeah, and there we go, starting to open up that bomb site. It's going down. In fact, I believe there's only one anchor on the side of Varrel left to defend that bomb site, and he's relocated over towards Memorial. That's going to allow Tayo to start bringing in that Hibana, start bringing in that user a little bit closer to the bomb site, and plan out this next stage of the execute.
A good breach now on this side, coming on through with plenty of time left for this execute, but SCARZ need to keep up the pace. Varrel are very much prepared for this retake now. Caillou preparing to go upstairs. He may well link up with Okamesh. Washoy is the only attacker above to cover this plan.
Nice line scan to ring out will enable Tayo to start getting the bomb down, and Washoy to collect one on the retake for Caillou.
Attackers are activated.
What is the plant denial here? No way! Washoy's done some serious damage from above, eventually flanked, but Okamesh may be too little too late. It's just him and Carwow now, and this is such a difficult position to post-plan. Carwow does spot out Fish-like inside of Mem, but doesn't win his one. Okamesh has now got 3 to find, and he's caught in an awkward position. Pion takes him down. SCARZ, 2 attacks in a row to kick off the second half of this game. Varrel struggling to find confidence anywhere on the defense.
Good from SCARZ as well to identify that the site was in fact quite vacant off the back of them being able to get vertical control. Not only that, but the plan as well, aided by that line scan to ensure that the retake couldn't come through from Varrel without them knowing, and as that vertical pressure had been so well established, not only that, but off the back of a few flank drones that were set up to enable Washoy to survive for long enough to cover the plant, SCARZ close out what seemed to be a pretty easy round.
It has been pretty straightforward for a lot of these SCARZ attacks. They seem so good at just completing the fairly fundamental operations, order of operations for these bomb sites, right? Take top floor, start getting the vert game, rotate over to site, open up a breach, plant the diffuser, and then sit it out in the post. And we haven't seen enough of the disruptive playstyle from Varrel. As we saw on Cafe, we talked so much about it, Mandy. What the defense needed on that map was the X factor. You don't have these power positions to hide behind with its army banned. You need to start getting aggressive and being proactive on that defense. You need to win these roam games, win these retakes.
But I think that's the thing about Villa, right? It's not such a cafe where you can run a bit more rampant. So I feel like this type of map is a lot more boxed in what you can and you can't achieve, and the amount of creativity that you can have in it. And I think that the way that SCARZ are playing, yes, it's simple, yes, it's straightforward, but I think that Varrel are overthinking it just a little bit, what they need to do against SCARZ. I think that they keep trying to bring in this sort of X-Factor type defense that isn't quite working out. We are going to go over to this trophy and statuary side, and the mirror is going to be in play, and Okamesh will put his first one on the mirror window. I'm curious as to where he'll play the second one. But it's a pretty unconventional site to play mirror on, to be honest. I mean, if SCARZ, for example, decide in this position to go for a sweep from here, they're going to be able to see that triple wall mirror from inside of landing anyway. So I suppose that's why Varrel are looking to extend across the other side. A couple reinforcements, actually quite a lot of reinforcements dedicated to this roam. They've got a setup ahead of me in their setup, of course. And I think it's going to come down to how well Varrel are going to be able to hold on to this extension if SCARZ do go for a sweep. Or otherwise, if SCARZ just want to take the path of least resistance, just jump in, go for a direct attack.
I feel like Stat Trophy is the bomb site that you play mirror on if you really want to play mirror. You really want to force it into being viable on a site. Yeah, there are some ways that it can be used, but also a lot more ways that it can be countered. Speaking of counters, wow, have a look at that. That's a hacked yokai. The SCARZ. Now Rhett can
so cool.
Reposition that. Such a valuable piece of utility. Yeah, that is massive now.
Oh no, it happened again.
Oh my god, he's actually just done it. He's gone and done it. And look, out on the stables as well. Rento said, mate, you hack my drones, you hack my team's cams, and I'm just going to go and peek you outside the building.
This is so much fun to watch. I love watching Brava. If there are any pro teams watching this out there, can you please pick more Brava so we can have more laughs? It's good.
Yep. It's just, it's so ridiculous, isn't it, what you see with Brava active. Now,
so
I do like what we started seeing from SCARZ here. They're trying to get a bit of a breach onto that bathroom closet wall, but it has, for now, been denied. I believe some impacts came through from Rento with the X-Pyros.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
I like that, though.
Breach.
I like what they're trying to do by forcing SCARZ to do this direct attack, right? SCARZ have clearly seen the setup for the roam that they've got, and they've gone, no, I think we're just going to try and play the utility game and make wardrobe our own, and then make bathroom our own. But the dangerous part about this is because the triple wall is open, you can't really hop in through walk-in. It's not a super viable place to jump in. So now they've got to play this game with the X-Kairos instead, which has loitered away quite a lot of time, only a minute left on the board, and SCARZ don't have the greatest foothold into the building. Not until Washoy can take down DD Man all the way from the basement.
Well, this is where the kills start to come in for spades, the SCARZ, because they've started to really pick apart this defense. Both of the mirror windows open now. Getting very awkward for Varrel to play on site, so we're getting players in these unusual positions like Carwell, aggressive inside of Marcy. He's going to have to drop downstairs.
Oh, but there's a player to meet him on the other side. They have info on him. The default camera seeing where Washoi is, and he's just stepped into a goo mine as well. We'll have to take that one out. Maybe Kawa can find the timing here.
Oh, he almost misses it, but he does indeed finally finish off Washoi. Pyon just wins the timing there. Got a goo in his foot, needs to pull out. As that timer starts to fall down towards 0. Hasn't heard Blanco down yet. A flash, very well placed. Forcing that diffuser down, it's going to need to be a swing from Carwell, but the cover is there from Tayo. Renzo, oh, not going to be enough. Tayo covering to perfection. Almost there for the lesion, but a nice little flick from the Hibana to cover for his team. And out of seemingly nowhere, SCARZ have found themselves a map point, series point.
Good work from SCARZ there. They identified the path of least resistance and they took it to perfection. They realized that that roam that they'd extended over onto the other side was so aided by such a reservoir of utility. There were Ela mines there were so many reinforcements that they decided, look, that mirror window might look scary, but let's deal with it. And they started right outside that master balcony. They sent in the special drone force to be able to deal with all of the utility that was there on the site. We saw really early on that Brava hacking all of the utility inside of Astro. That really made that position a lot easier to get into come the mid-rounds. Even though it took a while to crack open the mirror windows, they played the attrition game with the utility to perfection. All the impacts, all the SCARZ, it eventually worked out in their favor. And they're able to close it out with a really nice execute to get the bomb down.
I think SCARZ in the Japan League are a perfect example of why it's fine to just keep it simple sometimes.
Exactly.
The Hibana was so impactful that round. Just cutting off lines of sight, countering the mirror windows. There were 100 different things that Varrel could have done to counter that. You know, bringing Bandit or Mute to try and cover off the mirror windows. But at the end of the day, SCARZ just takes some simple tools to get the job done.
It's really nice that SCARZ they have such a great read on what to do together, right? There's one big concept that gets called by Pyon, right? That he's the IGL, but every single one of those SCARZ players gets involved on the push in whatever way that they can. It started off all with the Brava, right? Then we had the Hibana, that's so impactful. Tayu has been so good with playing that utility. And it just feels like each of their SCARZ players really knows their place in the push and is able to play the micro to perfection, depending on what operator they decide to bring.
Well, now it'll need to be 3 rounds in a row for Varrel. One of the teams that we thought would be favored to go to the major to represent Japan on the global stage is looking like they may be knocked out of the bracket. But a big pick now by Rento. Rek, one of the big damage dealers for SCARZ, taken out of the equation. A nice jump out there from Okamesh, but read into by Washoi. If you don't land that headshot with the Vector, you're likely going to lose the fight. Washoi survives despite taking 3 bullets to the chest. SCARZ can equalize that numbers.
Ooh, but they're going to have to be very careful here. They are running into C4-able territory, the entire floor here, leading up to 90 soft. And Caillou has that diffuser in hand. A player on their drones inside of that connector. Oh no, but he doesn't rip out the C4, and in fact, that's Tayu, and he's decided to run straight into the hallway, play it safe. But the threat from below is still ever elusive.
He's going to have to be quick here, though. You see how fast these SCARZ players are moving. C4 eventually does connect onto the Hibana. No more hard breach now for SCARZ. And this is turned on its head. Finally, Washoi finished off. He was low HP. Akayu has been a serious contender in this round. He's put Varrel on the map.
Pyon going downstairs, trying to collect the trade onto that player inside of the pulse, but look at how scary that site setup looks for Fish. Like, he's going to try and throw in a grenade to aid his push in, but that's going to be a scary one. There's no way he's going to be able to get the bomb down with so many people that could be there to flood onto him.
Lagoyo is great here as well. Very, very awkward now, the SCARZ. And Varrel are playing this smart. They don't need to over-aggress. This could be finally a chance to get some weight on this defense for Varrel after 3 missed attempts. Took them a while to get the hang of it. Desperate now for Pyon and Fish, like setting it up the main stairs. Spots out Akayu, but he has had a phenomenal round. He's not looking to go down without a fight. Finds one immediate trade from DD. Fishlight gets into sight, but doesn't get anything done. Varrel finally find their first round. 1 of 3 that's needed to push OT.
Nice roam from Varrel. It really just came down to the early game to mid game there for me. I think that although they didn't go for anything too spectacular on the roam, just start players off early, try and prevent them from getting inside a triple. Not only that, but it was aided by the pulse, which SCARZ hadn't quite identified yet. Was able to net them the few kills that they needed to be able to close out that round. Now, when you're in the man disadvantage on Villa, it can be quite hard to close out the round after that. It's a lot, especially for Aviator and Games, it's quite an impenetrable bomb site if you are down in the man count, because there are so many lines of sight and crossfires that are set up by the defense. And so from there on out, it was a pretty easy job for Varrel to close it out.
Andy, it's not going to be enough just to get one defense win here on Aviator Games. Varrel are going to have to do a home run. 3 different bomb sites in a row to push overtime. It looks like they might be going to dining kitchen for this next one. SCARZ have taken their tactical timeout. Really need to close it here before letting Varrel build that momentum back up.
Absolutely. It's about winning out these tertiary bomb sites as well if they want to claw themselves back into overtime. And I think for SCARZ, with the way that they've been playing, it's quite consistent. And I think that being able to just put one more round on the board shouldn't be too tall of an order for them, especially when they have to cycle through so many different bomb sites. It's really forcing Varrel to play catch up here.
It's really scary for Varrel, but they can't think about that right now. They just have to focus on the here and now. Actually got Thorn with the shotgun. Haven't seen a lot of this here. That M870 packs a punch. It's one of the better shotguns that defense has available. And of course, Thorn does have a secondary C75, so not quite an SMG, but a machine pistol. Is alright for taking mid-range engagements if the player is comfortable with it. The thing for me, Mandy, is just have a look at this attacking lineup from SCARZ, right? Like, we are seeing a fairly rush-centric lineup.
Oh, no more Bravo. Oh, devastating. I mean, there are no special drones to hack with the special drone, so there's no more droneception. But that's okay. I think you're right. I think that this is going to lean itself into a more direct attack, all 5 players spawning over on that fountain side of the map. But we've also got the buck as well to enable their entry down in the pantry below. You can come up those stairs and cut down that kitchen in half. There is a drone on the site that is totally informing this rush, as you've alluded to as well. And I imagine as soon as that pantry breach gets open with the Hibana, it's going to absolutely cut that bomb site in half. It's going to be very easy for SCARZ here to enable themselves into a push if they can get this done in time before Varrel players will rotate back.
Well, at least Carwow is on that cardiac sensor with the pulse, so we can get some information. Smoke grenades come out, Carwow can call it out. And the E1D signals that this is indeed a rush. Wreck is straight into the bomb site, good for 1. The Vulcan canister puts Caillou in a world of hurt. Wreck to lock him in, but Renzo's done some damage now with his Thorn devices. The plant has not confirmed as of yet. John, though, to perfectly cover Renzo above, completely locked out of the site. Varrel falling like flies. And SCARZ may well have done it. Here on map 3, after losing their own map pick, they brought it all the way back. And it's up to DD to have a phenomenal 1v4. He's good, but I don't think he's got it in him. Wreck to close it. He has been so good all day long. And SCARZ booked themselves a spot in the semi-finals of the RJL.
And in what fantastic way to close out the map as well, of course. A rush off the back of a drone inside of the bomb site. Crucial miss for Varrel has enabled SCARZ to take the one final attack they needed to close out the series.
Over the course of that series, we saw SCARZ go from devastation